reacting with surprise if this came out to be 100,000. Does that number change based on the size of the patient pool? Just in terms of, when you think about it, is it a single product and a single therapy, or is it, how the actual utilization and how it'll impact bottom line?
How many patients we have on it? No, I don't think it would. I think they would look at it from a product to more of a product comparable to what else we're going to be treating with. But as far as like the overall number of patients that we're going to be treating, I think they're just going to look at it and be like, hey, we're adding this. We're expecting to maybe 50% or 75% of our patients are going to get this added on. I think they would just look at what that cost is going to be and then give us a new budget for the rest of the year going forward.
Okay. Great. Any other questions on the TPP from the team?
No, I think maybe just the question to think about, and this happens with a lot of drugs, but if it's approved first for second line or later and then gets the first line indication, how would you think about it's the same molecule, similar dosing, maybe it's a different combination like you see here, but how would you recommend for pharma to manage that transition that isn't necessarily so easy to do, right? Like the PD-L1s got approved as later line and priced at $150. Now they're being used earlier line at $150. That seems to be okay. But I think if we look at this as two separate products here, we'd say it's not okay. So how do you think about appropriately managing that kind of transition moving earlier?
Ask the question again.
So a simple question is, let's say this drug is approved in one combination, second line, and hypothetically, let's just say they priced it at $150,000. Now they got a first line approval with a different combination, and the current price in the market is $150,000. Do they have to do anything to lower the price, or how do you manage that? Right, like the PD-L1s get away with it; they just keep the same price and move earlier. How would you recommend in that case?
And I think that's almost. I think it's almost like we expect it. Like that's the price of the drug, no matter what we add it to.
Mm-hmm. Like if you saw that first, that 1L profile, and the drug was already on the market for second line, and was for relapse refractory, and was priced at $150, would you block it from use in first line unless they reduce the price?
Not if it had the results, no.
Yeah. And that's just kind of the nature of it. It happens all the time in oncology, especially, right? We get a later line approval.
Yeah.
To that indication.
It happens just about, I think, with every new drug that comes to market anymore. Is we get hit with, comes out second, third line, then eventually after time it comes out first line, and it just becomes that price continued on.
Yep. Is there a point where that would be egregious? Like you don't expect a CAR T to be a first line therapy at $373,000, or even that, if it got a first line indication, would you say we'd let it be used first line?
The CAR Ts are kind of interesting. The fact that I would hope, and this is just pie in the sky thinking here, that if it did get to the point where it came down the first line, that they would find a way to actually manufacture this a little bit cheaper and put that cost down a little bit, because the CAR Ts themselves, as of right now, I got to imagine that there's some insurances that are out there just going, no, we can't do this. This is going to put us out of business.
Yeah. Okay. But it does sound like you'd almost be relying on the payer to go ahead and block it.
Yeah.
If something gets earlier.
We are definitely the payers are kind of our bigger lobbyers.
Mm-hmm. Got it. Okay. Makes sense.
I mean, we try lobbying with the drug companies directly when we're trying to get, like free